Hello and welcome everyone. I welcome you to this video lesson, and in this video lesson I will be walking you through the process of installing the Palo Alto OVA or the VM on the VMware ESXi platform, and I also will show you how to download the actual file for this VMware ESXi. So this is my VMware ESXi that you can see on my screen, and then I will have to go to the Palo Alto support portal to download the Palo Alto VM file, the OVA file for this particular installation. So you go here, right, and then you should have access to the customer support portal, and this is not for everyone. This is only available for the company or organization that is already using a Palo Alto product, and then you should have the access to the customer support portal through your organization. Now once you are here, you in order to download the OVA file, you will have to go to the updates section here, right, and then you go to the software updates, click on the software updates. Once you are here, you should see the content type here, right, so you will see the downloading options here. Now you will have a lot of things here, right. If you scroll down up, you will see a lot of things. You will see the OS images for the hardware platform. This is Palo Alto 220 platform. Like that, you will have others as well. Now you will go for the PanOS VM series. It looks like the one that you would download, right, but this is not the one actually. You should go for the base image. So if you see here PanOS for VM series base images, you will click here and you will see the .ova file. This is what you need to download. Now if you see on the version left hand side, you see the latest version right now is 12.1, which was recently released. But this is not something that every organization is using, so we will fall back to something which is more stable. So I will actually go ahead and download, I think, this 11.20, and for that you can just click on the checksum to see the MD5 hash and the size of the image, all the details, right. So in order to download that, you just have to click on the OVA file here. There's a link. If you click, it will start the download in your downloads of the browser, right. If I go to my browser, it's already downloading, so I'll just delete this one. I had already started the downloading of the file. So once this is downloaded, then I will show you the next steps on how to importing this on the VMware ESXi here, and then do the initial configuration and access the web GUI of the Palo Alto firewall. So I'll wait for this download to finish, and then I will continue with the installation of the VM on the ESXi. Okay, now the OVA has been downloaded and it's in my downloads folder here. So now next we have to import this in the VMware ESXi. For that, I will go to the virtual machines tab here, and I'll click on the create or register VM. Now I'll go for the second option, deploy a virtual machine from an OVA for an OVA file, because I have an OVA file. I'll hit next. I'll just name the uh, VM Palo Alto FW1. Okay, and then I can either click here or drag and drop the image OVA here like this. Okay, and then hit next. And then after that, you have to specify the data store. I will go and store it on my data store 2, because on data store 1 I don't have that much of storage. So I'll go here. Now this is your first NIC, so I will go and connect it to my VM network. Then this is going to be a thin provisioning. Thin means you will be sharing your disk with other VM, and thick means you will be dedicating that particular amount of storage or resources to your VM dedicatedly. Okay, and then power on automatically. So this is a summary of what you did. So I'll finish here. Now it will start the importing of the OVA. Now it will upload that OVA file, which consists of the disk image, which is .vmdk, to my ESXi. So it will take some time, and we will have to wait until this process is completed. Once you will see the completed successfully message on these two processes recent tasks, then we will be good to go and turn on the Palo Alto firewall, the virtual firewall. So I will wait for this processes to complete, and then I will continue back. Okay, everyone. So now you can see that the VM has been already deployed, and you can see the results as completed successfully on the create VM, import V app, and the upload disk. And you can see the power on VM is also completed successfully. That means my VM is already on, powered on like this. Okay, so the default username password is admin and admin. So admin is the username, password also is admin, all small letters. This is the default password. Once you enter the password, it will ask you to reset the password. For that, you have to enter the old password, which is admin, and then enter a new password, whatever you like. With the password complexity means you should have caps, you should have special characters and all. Okay, so I've already done that. Now if you see show interface management is the command to see the IP on the management interface. So it is by default having a DHCP enabled on the management interface, and you can see it has been assigned an IP address of 192.168.1.189. So we should be able to access the web GUI through the console 192.168.1.189 like this, and you just accept the risk because of the the self-signed certificate, and then enter the newly changed password, and yeah, you are able to access the web GUI of the Palo Alto firewall. So it should load. This firewall is basically not licensed. If you see, so if you can just look at the serial number, it's unknown. That means this is not licensed, right? But you can use the CPU ID and UUID to license the firewall. It is having a memory of 5 GB and 2 VM cores. So depending on the type of license you attach with this firewall, you may have to increase the memory and the resources on the CPU as well. Alright, so if you want to see again the status of the license, you can go to the device and the license tab here, and you can see that there is no license available on this firewall. Right, so if you want to change the managing the IP statically, because this is DHCP assigned IP, so you need to go to device setup and management here. Now in the management you can change the DNS and everything, but I will not change right now. So we have to go and change the management IP. So we have to go to interfaces and then click on this management interface. Now here it is saying it is type DHCP client, so you have to change to static and then provide the IP. Let's say 190 is the IP, and then it is the net mask, and then I will give the the default gateway, which is my router, and what you want to enable is HTTPS and SSH on this interface, management interface. You can define permitted IP address, which is allowed to access this management interface. You can put it there as well if you want to restrict it. Okay, that's how we do in the protection network. So let's leave it with an OK, and then you will have to commit. Once you commit, obviously you will lose the web GUI because the IP will be changed to 190 now. So I'll go ahead and we'll see basically if I close this, and I should see this here. So if I do you know like this, and if I refresh this, wait a second, if I try to refresh this page, I should not get any page. Instead, what I have to do is I have to go and type 190, but this will take effect only after the commit has been successful, right? So that will take some time, but let's wait for the time being. I can also do a ping on this, and then I can try the reachability. Ping 192.168.190, and yeah, this is reachable now. Now let me try the HTTPS on this. Yes, I have the HTTPS. I'm able to ping. Yes, hopefully I don't have anything else on my network. If I do R minus A, and if I do 192.168.190, 192.168, 1 dot, I don't have it. Okay, anyways, hopefully I should be able to reach this. I don't think I have anything else, because if you go here on the CLI and say show interfaces management, you should see that you have the 190 IP address attached to it, right? So this is how you change the IP. Maybe I have some other device which is having the 192.168.1, or else I can go and open a private window and type this 192.168.190. Yes, so I am able to access, maybe because of the cache I was not able to access. So I'll type this, and I did a mistype here, admin at 7534. So yeah, so I'm able to log into my statically assigned IP address on the management interface of my Palo Alto VM. So that's how you download and install the Palo Alto firewall on the VMware ESXi. I hope this was informative, and I will see you in the next lesson. Till then, bye bye. Thank you.